For the ISTD project, I chose the line brief. I started by looking at barcodes and the Bauhaus movement as well as repeat patterns. Through this research, I came across the barrier grid animation and moire effect, which led to the idea for this project. For some further research, I looked at Bob Norma, Barbara Kruger, Rafik Anadol, and Eusebio Semperi. These designers helped me develop my idea, so I experimented in Illustrator to create a similar effect to Semperi. From this, I was able to identify a specific target audience, which I then picked a piece of text to correspond to it. I followed with some prototyping, using the text from the novella, working with the lines being vertical and horizontal over the text. I figured that the horizontal lines worked better as they seemed more legible. As my project developed, I realized that the amount of text I had would not work with the concept I had in mind. I decided to research some poems instead for the text, and came across the poet Mark Strand. For the formatting, I wanted to include an interactive element, so I decided on choosing a book as I wanted the user to be able to have more control over the reading process. I made some binding prototypes, experimenting with the perfect binding, which allows pages to lay flat, and the Japanese stitch binding. I decided on the Japanese stitch binding as it felt more secure with the papers I used in the attempts I made. I also created a sleeve that acted as a frame so that the acetate would be able to sit inside it and reveal the title on the cover of the book. Originally, I wanted to work in an A5 format, but decided that the text would be too small and illegible. So I decided on creating this in an A4 landscape format with page numbers included. I worked with the 12x12 grid system with a 12.7mm margin and 5mm gutter to align the different elements. This includes the 1cm allowance for the Japanese stitch binding. I used white paper for the body of the book and black paper for creating the sleeve. I chose to work with sans serif typefaces including Impact, Helvetica and Helvetica New, as they are accurate and legible. Originally, I did have 4 lines per page, but decided to make use of the extra space around it and separate the lines further. This meant that the words would be easier to read as they would be larger. I wanted the line to continue throughout the book, so I included the poem on each page, but having redactions on the sections that are not shown. I proceeded to change the redacted text to red so it would correspond to the later cover design. I created a guide at the beginning of the book to show the user how to work with the acetate, revealing each line. These are the iterations for the cover design, and these are the chosen front and back covers. This is the final binding of the book, along with the acetate showing the front and back cover. I have included some pictures of the final printed book and stills of the acetate overlaying the poem. I will now play the video of the book, showcasing the pages inside of it.